Okay, so we're going to go over thyroid function tests. So hopefully you see my screen. And here's the objectives. So we're going to talk about the thyroid gland and its functions, and we're going to discuss the hormones released by the thyroid gland and what their normal levels are. We're also going to discuss the effects of abnormal levels on cardiac function and signs and symptoms of abnormal functioning. So the thyroid gland sits in the neck. It's a butterfly-shaped endocrine gland located in the lower anterior aspect. It's a structure that produces hormones. That's why it's called a gland. The wings are connected by the center by a structure called the isthmus. I would know that term. That's the center, how the wings are connected. It weighs about 1 ounce. It is larger in men than it is in women, and it controls metabolism. So here's the isthmus in the middle, and here's your butterfly. So up here you see the, this is going to be the cartilage. Here's the thyroid gland, and here's your trachea.
In case I need to come back up and put them in,
There's a YouTube video also, if you want to look at that, that I'll send you the slides for. So we discussed this one time before when I went over endocrine with you. So the hypothalamus is what detects what's going on in the gland itself. It knows blood levels, it knows everything that's going on. And then when you look down here, you'll see there's the pituitary. So if we recall, the anterior pituitary holds everything. The posterior is the oxytocin needed for uterine contractions, and also the antidiuretic hormone. But in the anterior, we have thyroid stimulating hormones. So when it detects that metabolism's low, things are slow, then the anterior pituitary will send out thyroid stimulating hormone, which is TSH, and it will tell the thyroid gland, hey, you make T3 and T4. Okay, so that's basically how it works, and these are essential for the body's metabolism and calcium balance, because we know that it makes calcitonin, which puts the bone in. It secretes thyroid hormones that produce and use energy, and also regulates our temperature. It assists in proper functioning of organs, so it's essential for brain development and essential for mental activities in adults. So when they have hypothyroidism, people tend to feel tired, they get a little confused, they feel like they can't concentrate, they tend to put weight on, they tend to be cold all the time, their lipid levels go up real high. So we just think of slow and low, but when it's high, we think of hyperthyroidism, where they get palpitations, they lose weight, they're nervous, they anxiety, palpitations, things like that would speed everything up. They're actually hot all the time, so they have a hot intolerance. In children, though, when people are born with diminished thyroid function, the babies can develop cretinism, and in the cretinism, they actually will have disabilities in mental disabilities, because of the function of thyroid is to help for brain development. So the hormones, these are the blood tests that we measure. So when somebody comes in, they have chest pain, they feel tired, they're having palpitations, they're tachycardic, they feel like they've gained weight, they're confused, we'll always run a TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. Because think about it, I don't need to run T3, T4, right? So just run TSH, because if the TSH is high, that's going to tell you that probably T3 and T4 are low. And if the TSH is low, then that's probably going to tell you that T3, T4 are high. So a lot of times we're just, they come in with palpitations, or they feel fatigued or tired. We'll go ahead and we'll run a TSH just to rule anything else out. But if the TSH now is abnormal, we're like, oh, so now we can check the T3, T4 and determine what exactly is going on with the patient. Because the T3, T4 is produced by the follicular cells of the thyroid gland and they're regulated by TSH. So we just run a TSH on admission and go from there. T4 is more abundant, but it's more inactive. The T3 is the more active component of the thyroid hormone. The role of iodine. So we need to ingest iodine in order for thyroid hormones to be produced. This is why iodine was added into our salts. Not much of a huge deficiency in the United States, but other countries tend to have iodine deficiencies. So iodine is converted to its free elemental iodide. Iodide goes into the thyroid gland, it's oxidized, and then it's combined with an intermediate hormones. These compounds are then combined to form the active hormone T3 and T4. So thyroid stimulating hormone is a glycoprotein secreted by the anterior pituitary gland in response to thyroid releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. Okay, so the hypothalamus is what releases thyroid releasing hormone, tells the anterior pituitary to make thyroid stimulating hormone, which is TSH, and then in turn tells the thyroid gland to make T3 and T4. So the TSH stimulates the secretion of T3, T4 that's produced into the thyroid gland, and the secretion of TSH is going to be dependent on a negative feedback loop. Okay, I'm just making sure.